Alright. It looks like it worked this time. Okay, Justin, what's going on, man?
What's up? Are we live?
I think we're live. Let's give the people what we want. Stream health, green. Let's do
Green.
it.
Green means go.
Yes. Okay. Let me see. It'll be a little bit of a delay the way it looks, but live chat.
That's okay.
So no, this is all good. And I don't know if you want to get that link out there. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Share
Let's
the
go.
link. Share the link. Let's go. Nope. Wrong one.
Uh-oh. Don't share that one.
Nope. Here we go.
You don't want to share that one.
We don't want this to get crowded in here. Share the link. Okay.
So what are we on right now? YouTube?
We are on YouTube, my man. We did it.
All right.
We did it. It's
We
real.
did it.
I'm watching
Only
it.
took
It's a little bit of
hour and a
delay,
half.
but life's good. No echo. I'm gonna check my levels here. We're coming in good. Whew. We did it. We problem solved, man. This is 2020, baby.
It's a new year.
All right. Welcome everybody to chat. Got my buddy Justin Watry on here. He wanted to give us his 20 bold predictions for the WWE coming up here in 2020. So, I'll let you take it away, Justin. And let's see what
Well, I'll
happens
take
here.
it away, but first problem is I already made a little typo on my tweet. Of course.
Perfect. We'll end the stream. End the stream and do it.
Oh, no, don't you dare.
No.
We will never be able to get it back.
Oh, that's good. Let's see if we can get people. Stream options. Yeah.
Where is your tweet, by the way?
I didn't tweet it out yet. Let me see.
Okay. Because, yeah, mine's
Pop in and
hop in and
chat up with us. How we talk about.
alright, I'm gonna see if I can bust out
There we go.
something here.
I'll throw it out there. Let's see who to follow close. Okay. It's official.
It's official.
Yeah, but
Is it Facebook official?
oh boy, no, not yet.
Dang it.
But hopefully the keyboard isn't too loud on mine. I'm gonna try and leave it alone for a little bit. Just keep an eye on the chat. But okay, Justin, you wanted to go over last year's predictions and where you kind of fared for that. Let's see. Are you batting 1,000 or where are we at?
Well, I don't know about that. But yeah, so basically, do you remember doing this last year?
I do.
Okay, last January we did this, and it was 20 bold predictions for 2019.
Okay.
Now, in this crazy world, a lot changes in, a day, right?
That's true.
So, I mean, going for 12 months or whatever you're trying to do, I mean, that's needle in a haystack crap, right?
For sure.
But, knowing me, I'm going to shoot for it, right? So, anyways, I went for 20 bold predictions last year, and at the end, I noticed that somebody said, oh, hey, let's, see how he does in a year, or let's, keep track of all this crap.
Okay.
So that got my mind going. I was like, all right, sure, let's, go back 12 months and let's see. So, the way we're going to do it is because I'm a diehard fan and you're a casual fan.
Sure. Super casual.
Super casual,
The
super
casuals.
casual.
Okay.
Like my satire, a nice bright yellow shirt. So anyways, I'm going to go through each one, and I'm going to ask you first if you think that it happened or if it did not happen.
Okay.
Now, I would assume most people listening to this already know if it happened, but I want to see if you know if it happened. So remember, this is from January 2019, and then after this garbage is done, we're going to go to my picks now for 2020. So then we're going to get to some new material. So anyways, up first I had, after a 5-year absence, CM Punk returns in some fashion.
I believe he does. Or did.
Oh boy, if that doesn't tell it all.
Oh no.
Well, here's the deal. I gave myself a point because it did happen. So
I thought it was something backstage, right? Okay, I'm sorry. You give it.
Yeah.
You give it.
Yeah, he is an analyst on WWE Backstage, which actually airs Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock. Imagine that. So, I'm counting that because I never said he's coming back in the ring. I never said he's coming back for a WrestleMania return. I never said that. I said he's coming back to do something like that.
Yeah.
So, he is back in the fold. He's technically getting paid by Fox, not WWE, but obviously it's WWE backstage, so you can kind of, make your own assumptions there. I think it's a foot in the door, and it's only a matter of time until something else happens. So number 2, Braun Strowman goes to SmackDown. Did it happen?
I'm just gonna say yes. I have faith in you that you called it.
Okay, you are correct. In October, they did their usual draft shake-up type thing.
Okay.
And yes, after years and years, Braun Strowman finally moved to SmackDown.
I knew it.
I thought it was a long time coming. He should have went there probably last year.
Okay.
But, I don't know if you remember, but WrestleMania 2 years ago, 2018 actually, he teamed up with a kid and won the tag titles for one day.
Pulled her out of the audience, right?
Well, it was a guy. But it was a guy with long hair. But anyways, so I would say he was due for a change. He needed to get the heck out of there and not be teaming with kids. And
frick out of there, sure.
So he did. So up next, I had a top star goes to SmackDown, and in that I listed Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns, a top star.
Okay.
So did either of those two go to SmackDown?
Yes.
You are right.
I knew it. I knew that you knew it.
Here's the thing. Same thing. In October, actually in April, they first did it, but later on in the year, they had a draft, and Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns went to SmackDown. And I will get to that in a little bit. So up next, I had The Rock returns. What do you think?
Sorry, I've been muting the mic so I can type. I say yes. I could have sworn yes.
Yes, The Rock returned, and I had listed that he would debut on the Fox debut for SmackDown.
Okay.
And that is exactly his one appearance so far last year.
Oh.
So talk about 10 months calling that one.
That's good.
So up next is kind of a funny one, but it says, I will continue not to care about ROH or New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I'll say yes. I think you stayed true to yourself.
Obviously. That was a little unfair, but still, the fact remains, nothing really caught my attention all year. I don't even know if I watched a single match from either of the companies, and I don't plan on doing that this year either.
Like nothing's on your radar, even like talent-wise, like people coming over to the WWE, or you don't look at it like that, really?
No, there's nothing going on right now that I need to pay attention to. I'll say that much.
Okay.
So number 6, I have AEW is the real deal. What do you think? True?
I'll say yeah. I think they were making some big plays. Is Jericho in AEW or what's up?
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. Okay. They're on TNT. They got 2 hours live prime time. They're touring big arenas. Jericho's their world champ. All these amazing things, but here was the thing. 12 months ago in January, 12 months ago, none of that was true. So I had said they'd be the real deal, and then all these things came after.
Okay.
So nailed that one. At least I think so. So number 7, I have Impact keeps on spiraling.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I even
like super spiral.
Spiral down the toilet, as I called it.
Oh.
But absolutely, I think so. Again, I don't know if I've watched a single match all year. Don't really care. So number 8, I have Batista returns.
I wanna say no.
Well, you want to say yes.
I want to say yes.
Yes, he did. Wow. He ended up returning a few months after this, and he ended up getting his farewell match with Triple H that he had talked about for years.
Oh, wow.
He had one goal to return. He went to do the movies, the Guardians, the Bond, all that good stuff. but he always wanted to come back for one last match against
Okay.
Triple H at WrestleMania. And this was the year it happened, and now this year he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
in the weekend of WrestleMania, he'll give the big speech and all that. And the day after his match with Triple H last year, he did, announce he was done, which everyone knew that this was just a one-off, kind of a farewell to do it on his terms. So at this point, I was batting 8 for 8. So we have a little bit of a hiccup here. I wrote NXT will remain on WWE Network. So the first thing I wrote in this column 12 months ago was, okay, this is a gamble. And it was a gamble because NXT did stay on it, WWE Network, for 9 months out of the year. But late in the year, they moved to USA Network. The money was too tempting. Fox already gave SmackDown $1 billion with a B, billion. And then USA Network gave Raw $1 billion. And then USA Network came swooping in to also offer a big payday for NXT. So they ended up taking the money. It wasn't as much as the $1 billion, but they ended up taking the money and going to USA Network, where they are every Wednesday night right now. So I gave myself a half point. I don't know if that's fair or not, because they did do that for 9 months, but the past 3 months it was a no.
Sure.
So
half point. Let me write down half point.
half point. So right now I'm 8.5 out of 9.
Okay. Out of 20. 20 to okay, coming up. Okay.
All right. So number 10, I have the NXT call-ups will be handled better than the others. That absolutely was true. There's been some NXT call-ups in the past few years that have not done so well on Raw or SmackDown when they kind of got the promotion.
Sure.
But these guys, they were all set. EC3, Lacey Evans, Nikki Cross, Heavy Machinery, Lars Sullivan, and then obviously Ricochet and Aleister Black also came up. All of them are doing great. So this batch of NXT call-ups did great. So number 11, I wrote Lucha Underground wraps up. So it's always a touchy subject when you deal with this kind of stuff, but basically I was calling for a promotion to end.
Okay.
I was basically predicting their demise.
Oh, sure.
In January. I was predicting that they would pretty much be done. And you can give me another point because they have not done another show and the season is done and most of their talent have gone elsewhere.
Okay.
So I would assume they're done. So yeah, what sucks is because the show actually started out really good and then it kind of tumbled their past few seasons. And Lucha Underground, if you don't know, is it's almost like a TV show kind of disguised in the ring. Like a lot of the stuff would be like almost like a soap opera, sitcom stuff, like in different things. But then of course it would like build to a match. So it's very weird and started out really good and interesting, but not so good in the end. But anyways, number 12, I wrote Bray Wyatt tweaks his character. That is true. He tweaked his character. He is now kind of the Fiend, they call him. I don't know if you've seen any of this stuff, but
no, none of that.
Yeah, he is the champion right now. So it's kind of messed up how it is.
Yeah.
And he had to change his character. It was kind of, due for it. At least that's what I would say.
Sure.
And he ended up doing it a few months after this column was written. So the next one I have is the women's tag team titles are introduced. That is absolutely true. They were introduced a month after this at the Elimination Chamber. Bayley and Sasha Banks won the first titles.
Okay.
It was kind of time for them to also get another title. So I thought it was cool that they were doing that. And so it was just another one on there. So up next I have an unexpected name comes back. Obviously I kept that one kind of vague.
Sure.
And I did name drop a couple people. One of them was Melina.
Okay.
And they've had a lot of back and forth. I know the word is heat, but a lot of heat in that way and a lot of BS that is going on. So Melina ended up returning. And it kind of shocked a lot of people. But not me. I thought it was something that was coming. And she had kind of been on her best behavior for a while.
Sure.
So the next step after that is kind of just waiting for a phone call that they can kind of prove like, okay, she's on the right track, she's good now. And then you
Okay.
can. So obviously she would accept, and she was on Raw. So 15, I have WWE's global expansion continues. This kind of goes back to their TV deals and everything like that, where they're just kind of like growing in the world right now,
Sure.
and everything's kind of they're opening up different like NXT centers, and right now there's NXT in Florida, there's NXT UK, and basically they want an NXT in every country, every continent, all around the world.
Okay.
That seems a little ridiculous and like a you know tough thing to sell, but that's what they want. So they ended up doing it. They ended up getting more Saudi Arabia money that they talk about a lot. They have specials there 2 times a year. So they absolutely did expand throughout the year.
Okay.
And I expect them to continue expanding.
Sure.
So number 16, I have XFL will go on as planned. So there's all this talk about the XFL starting in a month.
Oh, sure.
But this was a year ago, and the talk was that they may not, because I think it was the AAF or whatever the other football league was.
Sure.
That thing was going belly up real quick.
Okay.
And kind of tumbled in a hurry, and everyone thought, oh, well, bad sign for XFL. There you go. They're done with that.
Right.
And I think no. I think Vince, I guess the word is stubborn, but he was going to push through with this. He's got $300 million already put into this thing.
Yeah.
So whether it bombs or not, and you can judge on your own with that, it's moving forward. It's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah. And I saw that too. I actually just saw an ad for it. Promo on YouTube. They did like a rule breakdown of what that was going to look like. And I just want you to know, Justin, I pulled the video so that it said the stream health was red. So I just made it so it wasn't working as hard. There you go. We can still see you.
Oh, well, I'm glad everyone can see me. But anyways,
okay. That's
yeah, so yeah, XFL has a whole bunch of different rules. I don't know if you saw any of this, but like
the double forward pass and stuff like.
Well, instead of like when you score a touchdown, there's no extra point. Like you start at like the 5, 10, or 15 or something. Like if you do the 5, it's 2 points. Like the 15 is 3, or you can go like 30 yards and try like a 3-point. Like you go for the end zone.
Sure.
Like you run a play, and then like if there's a tie, there's no overtime. It's basically like soccer. You line up at different ends of the field.
It's like a shootout, right? Basically.
Yeah, you run 5 plays with your offense, and then obviously the other team's defense, and then it's best out of 5. So I think they're lined up at like the 5 or 10 yard line. So like on one end, the offense would run their play, and whether they score or not, then there'd be like a 30-second break, and then on the other side of the field, they'd already be set up, and then they run their play, and then it keeps going until obviously whoever wins.
See, like, and I know we could keep going back and forth with this too, but like, man, you're just gonna drain your team by having basically they'll always be on the field at all times, unless you have your special teams is separate. A separate batch of guys running those plays.
Overtime, and it's just 5 plays.
Oh, that's true. That was for overtime, not okay. That's a good point.
No, it's not the game.
Right. Every time.
Although I think the other rule is the game will have a running clock up till I think 2 minutes.
Oh, dang. Okay.
And they're, one of the things I guess in their research was, people want fast-paced games. They don't want to sit. And I know baseball gets a bad rap for it, but
yeah,
people say baseball goes too long. You're sitting there for 4 hours, and at 7th, 8th inning, it's just kind of like, let's get this over with.
Right.
So in football, it's like, all right, let's just keep it going, and then final 2 minutes, obviously, when you need timeouts and like play calling and stuff.
Sure.
So number 17 last year, I wrote that I may attend WrestleMania 2020. I didn't really count this one. This was just kind of more of a personal thing I threw in there.
Yeah.
I don't really plan on it, but I always say never. So
where is it this year?
It is in Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I'm really looking forward to is in the beginning of the year, they announce where the following years will be.
Sure.
So we should be finding out pretty soon where the following years is. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
Already rumored as the new California LA stadium. They're building some huge thing.
Sure.
And then I think Vegas is always rumored. I think Minneapolis, the new Viking stadium, that's been rumored.
Okay.
My only holdup is in 2017. If you remember, I went to Orlando for
Sure.
WrestleMania.
Sure.
My only holdup would be going to Tampa. Would be like, I already went to Florida, and then like I'd be going to the, like, I know it's not the same area, but pretty much the same thing and the same thing. So I don't know.
I hear ya.
It'd be like, well, I'm waiting for it to go somewhere else, and then I could travel there.
Right.
All right. So number 18, I wrote Roman Reigns comes back. So it seems weird, but if you remember 12 months ago, do you remember what Roman Reigns was doing?
No.
He had just announced he had leukemia,
Sure.
and he needed to step away. He
Okay.
needed treatment and all that stuff. So for me to say that he was coming back, completely ridiculous.
Right.
But 3 months later, he was in remission and started to, build his comeback.
Okay.
And emotional, cool moment, and he did come back, and we'll see now what he does. But that was last year. So, anyways, number 19, I have Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch headline WrestleMania 35.
No.
So this is where I gave myself another half point.
Okay.
So out of this, I'm 18 out of 19 in case you're keeping score.
Sure.
Because 2.5 points.
Okay.
So anyways, Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch did headline WrestleMania. But Charlotte was added last minute for a triple threat.
Oh,
So there was a lot of BS about it, and they ended up going with the triple threat idea, and it's just tough sometimes because you always feel like one is left out. So it's kind of like, well, we got to make all of them happy. We got to do this, this, and this. I still say a year later, Charlotte absolutely deserved it, but she deserved being in that spot. She had an amazing 2018. I thought she was the what did I call her? The underrated or the unsung hero of the company in 2018. But Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch was such a heated feud at the time, such a rivalry. I don't know if she needed to be shoehorned in there like that.
Oh, sure.
I'm not entirely sure. So she did deserve it. There's no knock on Charlotte at all. But in that instance, it really was one-on-one, Becky and Ronda Rousey. And the other part of that bold prediction was headlining WrestleMania. Obviously, women had never headlined WrestleMania.
Oh,
And for the first time in the 35-year history of the WrestleMania, I was going with women main eventing, getting the final slot. And yes, it did happen. They ended up announcing it a week before to kind of give some last minute, press for the event of, this Sunday, first ever women's main event. And it was the right call. That was the biggest feud going on. It ended up being, Becky and Charlotte and Ronda, who actually the match wasn't even set in January. So for me to even say that 3 months in advance was a risk. But that's where they were headed, and that's what it was going to be. So it ended up happening. So anyways, my big final one, number 20, we finally made it. Can you believe it? You still awake over there?
So, you can't tell because of the picture.
Are you laying down with your rehab?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's gone.
And by the way, I think I see Brando. Did Brando say something?
He made it. It said Rey Mysterio will be next champ, and audio's all good. So it's nice having some support.
Well, okay. Well, Brando, I hate to break it to you, but I'll just say tune into Raw next week. He has a ladder match for Andrade's United States Championship.
There you go.
So I would say enjoy the match, but the new champ part, yeah, good luck. So anyways, number 20 last year, I had, drumroll please,
Let's hear it.
Ronda Rousey would lose, and she did. She lost. So the whole part was Becky Lynch was taking on the undefeated Ronda Rousey, the champion. The whole big build was Ronda Rousey, unbeatable. Nobody can stop her. UFC, WWE, doesn't matter. She comes out, gives that stare, the whole entrance, the whole song and dance. And I was predicting her coming in, giving that mean mug, and everyone just being all this, and then Becky Lynch beats her. And she pinned her 1, 2, 3, and Becky Lynch became the man. And cover the video game, a million magazine covers, and she is the man right now. Yeah. And arguably the biggest star in the company, arguably the biggest star in the industry. And, you know, Charlotte was not involved in the pinfall or decision, which, again, makes it questionable why she was even there in the first place.
Sure.
But we'll see now if Ronda Rousey returns, because actually she has not appeared since then.
Okay.
Becky Lynch is still the champion. So if Ronda wants that rematch, one-on-one match this time, the one we should have probably got last time, there's a little thing called the Royal Rumble coming up.
Sure.
So we'll see if Ronda wants to return. So if you're still awake, so up next, in case you were counting, I went 19 out of 20 there. How about that?
That's pretty good. Write that down.
And actually, if you want write it down. And if you wanted to get picky, I could actually give those half points to the full points and do 20 out of 20, but I won't. I won't do that.
You're so humble.
But, I know. So for the guy who said, let's check up on 12 months later, so for that guy, whoever that guy is, I hope he's listening right now. I hope he's listening.
There you go. We'll tag him.
We'll tag him. Mystery. We'll tag him.
I'll add it. I'll add the link to this stream as a comment to his.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. That is true. All right, so before getting to my 10...
The new ones.
Only 10 this time.
Okay.
I know. Take a sigh of relief. So before giving my 10 bold predictions for this year, and obviously seeing how I did last year, you know, maybe kind of see how we do, I actually had a question for you.
Okay.
It's your time to shine. I don't know if you want to put your video back on or what, or if you're laying, sitting on a toilet somewhere or whatever you're doing.
Okay. Anyway. Let's see. I'm back.
All right, you're on. All right. So as the lovely casual fan,
super
casual. What would you like to see in 2020?
Goldberg.
Well, here's the thing. Okay. He actually did return for SummerSlam.
Okay.
You know, he came out. Dolph Ziggler was ripping on all the legends, saying, you know, your time's up, old timers, blah blah blah.
Sure.
And it was pretty funny because Shawn Michaels had been kind of hanging around for whatever reason during all this, and The Miz, of all people, came out and said, you know, they paved the way, don't disrespect them, blah 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 blah. So then they had the quote-unquote contract signing for their match at SummerSlam. It was going to be Miz versus Dolph, right? So Dolph, of course, is the cocky one and just signs a contract and is like, let's do it, Miz. And I think Shawn Michaels was there for whatever reason. He was just standing there. I don't know why. So anyways, and Miz grabbed the microphone and just kind of smiled and laughed. And he's like, you didn't read the fine print, did you? And then he's like, you and I, we're going to have a million SummerSlam memories in the future. We're still in our prime. We're going to be doing this for a while. But I wanted one guy to get one last SummerSlam memory. And then all of a sudden he just looked over and smiled. And then Dolph slowly looked over at Shawn Michaels. And then Michaels kind of stared at him, gave him face-to-face, and the crowd started going nuts because they thought Shawn Michaels was coming back.
Sure.
And everyone was getting all tense and stuff. And Shawn Michaels kind of like lifts his hat, grabs the microphone and goes, it's not me. And then Goldberg's music hits and everyone goes nuts. And then, I don't know, they had like a minute match, but it was pretty good. So everyone was expecting a spear jackhammer.
Sure.
But Dolph actually super kicked him right in the face to start, and he went down. And it was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then he killed him with a few spears, and then it was over. But anyways, So Goldberg did come back, but besides that, anything else?
Click. No.
Just Goldberg?
That was a good one.
All right, well, I don't know if he'll come back, but actually it wouldn't surprise me because he also did have a dream match against The Undertaker in
Okay.
2019. If they've never fought before, they had a one-off. It's kind of just like a special attraction type thing. So it wouldn't surprise me if he came back again. I don't know if I don't know who or what, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's a spear jackhammer, so it's not expecting too much out of him.
Sure.
All right, so 2020, here we go. You can mark this down in 12 months. You ready again?
Okay. New page.
You're already looking forward to January 2021. I bet you are. You can already imagine how that's going to go. Anyways, number one, here we go. Let's start off a bang. Last year was the return of CM Punk. This year's number one is Dixie Carter breaks her silence.
Okay.
Now, you have no idea who Dixie Carter
Not
is.
even a little bit.
All right, well, I'll tell you who Dixie Carter is.
Okay.
Dixie Carter is the person that was behind TNA, Impact, whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
She was for years. Unfortunately, things have not gone in their direction, and she was basically ousted. She was basically, not kicked to the curb, but they had enough. And company sold to old people, a different company, and it was basically her parents were funding it this whole time, and they were done doing that. So, of course, once the parents were cut out, she was cut out.
Oh, sure.
So, there's an age-old question. I have this in the column, which, by the way, I suppose I should say 411mania.com.
Okay.
I should throw that cheap plug in there. So 411mania.com, you can find all this. Same with the podcast, 411 Foresight Wrestling Podcast. You can check that out, of course. So there's your cheap plugs right there. But anyways, there's an age-old question. So I'll ask you, if you could hang out with anyone in the world for an hour, who would it be? Past, present?
That's tough.
If you could just go to a bar, hang out, have a beer with anyone.
Anyone.
Anyone in the world.
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good one.
See what I mean? It's a tough one. A lot of people will say Jesus. A lot of people will say God. A lot of people pick a celebrity.
Sure.
Some will pick like the president or something like that. In wrestling, the usual answers are probably Vince McMahon, Stone Cold, Hogan. In my mind, it's like Vince McMahon. Like, would you not want to pick his brain for an hour?
Right. No, that's a really good point. Yeah.
Know what the heck he's doing.
Right.
But here's my thing. Dixie Carter has not spoken about any of this. About TNA, Impact. She's never, she has to have a million stories of what the heck the company's been doing or did do when she was there all these years.
Sure.
So, in my mind, it's almost her. So I'm predicting in 2020, we finally get a few answers of what the heck happened to this company. And, we joked last year about them spiraling, but, they actually did have a lot going for them at one point.
Right.
And, a lot of it was under Dixie's regime, whether it was, due to her or not. So I don't know if you notice on Twitter, which I can give a cheap plug here, at Justin Watry.
Definitely.
Every week or two, I kind of jokingly send an interview request to her. I don't know if you've seen this or not. And, I do it half jokingly, but it's only half jokingly because at some point I do think she'll kind of speak up. And I don't know if she has a non-disclosure agreement or anything like that, but, I would look forward to it. I would love to hear what she has to say. So that is one of my picks right there for 2020. We finally hear from Dixie Carter.
Okay.
Finally. Number 2, I have Brock Lesnar earns the fans' respect. Finally.
Okay.
So everyone rips on the guy. He makes millions. He literally makes like 6 figures to stand there and pose if he shows up on Raw.
Sure.
Literally stands there. Paul Heyman will cut a promo, and then he'll point at Brock Lesnar at the end. And then he leaves.
Sure.
That's basically it. And he gets 6 figures for that.
Right.
And right now, he is the WWE champion. and a lot of people hate it because he has had one TV match in like 10 years.
Oh, sure.
He's a special attraction. If he's going to fight, it's going to be on pay-per-view.
Right.
But here's the thing, which I write about. He's had classics with Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, Goldberg, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston. He's been a Money in the Bank winner. He's been a Royal Rumble winner. He's been a Universal Champion. He's been the current champion, which is WWE Champion, and he's main evented multiple WrestleManias.
Right.
And yet, all he gets is a bunch of flack and a bunch of part-timer complaints and all that BS. And I likened it to John Cena, where you kind of don't know what you got till it's gone.
Sure.
Well, John Cena's no longer there. He's off doing whatever. So, right. And now it's, oh, well, John Cena would have done this. John Cena would have, well, he was there and people booed him. And now he's not there, and now it's, oh, well, we want Cena back. Doesn't make sense, right? So that's my whole thing with that. I mean, we can, we're in Wisconsin, so we can liken it more to, Brett Favre. Everyone ripped on him and the whole exit thing of how Brett Favre left, but man, the gunslinger, you can't tell me we don't want him back, and that whole energy and attitude and everything that he brought. He basically built the Packers, and you look at Green Bay before he came and then after, it's a totally different story. So number 3, I have the stud finally emerges.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. Do you know who the stud is?
No idea.
Okay, because I mention him every week on my podcast.
Perfect.
So thank you for that. Stud is Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
Drew McIntyre. It's finally going to be his year. This is it. I don't know if he's going to win the Royal Rumble in a few weeks and face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, but I'd love to see that. I don't know what he's doing, face, heel. He's kind of been getting cheered a little bit more recently, but it's finally this guy's time. So I'm predicting in 2020. Let's just get to it. Let's crown this guy already. He's a stud. Actually, he's the stud.
The stud.
The stud. Number 4. I have CM Punk and WWE Backstage undergo a shakeup. So last year I predicted CM Punk would come back. And he did, as an analyst on WWE Backstage.
Sure.
But here's the kicker. I said he'd be back. I never said how long. So I don't know if this thing's going to last. He's already admitted he basically doesn't watch. So when it gets to him to comment, this show, by the way, is on FS1 every Tuesday night, which, as we're recording right now, which shows how many people watch it.
Sure.
So he openly doesn't watch, and then he comes on the show, which is kind of his role. He's kind of the Simon Cowell.
Sure.
So he comes on and kind of rips the storylines and, jokes about him and makes his little comments. But here's the thing. Each week they kind of have like a trivia contest and, to test your knowledge or whatever. And he did horrible. Like, there were some, pretty easy questions. I know it's easy to say as a diehard fan, but, years ago, who won, the Rumble or something? And he answered, some completely oddball answer. And he was serious with this. He didn't seem to really know much. And then I think it was Renee Young, who's the host of the show. She jokingly looked at him and called him a loser. And if you know CM Punk, I'm not sure he appreciates that, whether it was a joke or not. And I know they get along and they're buddies, but still, on worldwide TV, she basically looked and called him a loser.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing. Each week they have a celebrity come on and do, a promo contest.
Sure.
David Arquette came on. And, of course, if you remember his WCW, do you remember this?
Yeah, sure. And then it was even kind of in the movie. They played off of it.
Yeah, Ready to Rumble?
Yeah.
So David Arquette joked, he's like, I may have had a horrible wrestling career, but at least it was better than your UFC career. And it's like, when David Arquette is when David Arquette is dunking on you on worldwide TV, and Punk just had to sit there and take it, because there's a really good line.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know if he's going to stick around, but the worst part is Seth Rollins often gets flack for kind of tweeting a lot and kind of, it's one of those, just stay off Twitter. Some people just kind of need to. Sure. And CM told him. He went on air and told him his advice was stay off Twitter. Like, don't, send stupid crap.
Oh, sure.
So, which is all well and good, except for the fact that then right after this, CM Punk went on Twitter and told Miz, the Miz, to suck a blood-covered Saudi blood money insert body part from a male that you can probably guess.
Sure.
And of course, the outrage of that immediately hit, because
Man.
you could argue it's a homophobic comment right off the bat, and then you could argue about the whole language and stuff, and then he ended up deleting it like 10 minutes later. But of course, in the world of the internet, it's never deleted for good. People obviously saw it. Still no apology, still no nothing. I don't know if Fox is going to even bother punishing him or what, but he hasn't been on the show for a few weeks. So.
Oh, boy, sure.
So that's my other prediction. I don't know. I said he would come back, but I never said how long.
And we got a question. We got a question in the comments. What happened to the guy who quit because of the T-shirt? Is from DMO.
The T-shirt? Oh, the T-shirt. I think he's referring to a guy that was named ACH, Jordan Miles.
Okay.
So I don't know if D is still listening, but basically he had said the picture depicted a racist image from however many years ago. WWE, who they do this with all their talent, before a shirt or something, they will ask the talent's input. Like, hey, do you like this design? Do you want this? Do you like this? And he approved the shirt.
Okay.
He approved it, but then once it was out, he then changed his tune and said, well, now that he sees it, it has a certain imagery and a certain whatever. So, yes, at that point he started, firing back. This company's racist, all this stuff. And they then responded. First of all, not sure taking this to Twitter is the best idea in a billion-dollar company, not too professional. And then once he got all the support and stuff, then he started going on rants and, of course, deleting them 5 minutes later. The usual stuff where somebody probably said, like, dude, I don't know if this is the right idea. So, it'd be up for a little bit and then it'd be deleted and all this stuff. But anyways, the company eventually released a statement saying, the talent, approved the T-shirt, and it was never sold. It was just in production, so nobody technically owns it anywhere. But they pretty much said, this talent approved it, and it was in production. It ended up not once he spoke up and said, this probably isn't the best idea. And then, he just kept making noise about it, and they ended up just releasing him. And then after that, he announced he was retiring, and then the next day announced, no, he's not. And I don't know, apparently a lot of people were worried for him that he was kind of not in the best state of mind. So I don't know what he was going to do now. I have no idea, but they released him. I know he's doing a couple different shows here and there, but I don't see a lot of people probably signing him until he probably clears his head and kind of gets a full grasp on everything. But I'm guessing that's the T-shirt deal. But anyways, number 5, I have WrestleMania 36. So we talked about this already, but it's going to be in Tampa Bay. And Batista will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But also announced is the NWO.
Okay.
And yes, they're doing stables. They've done a few different groups. DX has gone in. So anyways, I'm predicting that Tampa Bay, it's the home of a lot of guys, actually. A lot of people live in Florida. And one of them is Hulk Hogan. And I am giving the bold prediction that I don't think he'll necessarily return to the ring because he can barely move and he's 150,000 years old. But I think this is going to be kind of like a homecoming, if not a farewell for Hogan. And, there's a lot of younger stars. There's a lot of different things going on. And I don't know if Hulkamania, they say Hulkamania will live forever. But I don't know if it necessarily will. It seems a lot has already kind of passed him by and all that. So I was going to say it's a homecoming for him and kind of the whole weekend with him and the NWO going in, being honored and all that. But it might almost feel like a farewell more than a homecoming. So we'll see how that ends up being. But speaking of WrestleMania 36, my number 6 prediction is WrestleMania will be stacked. So here's the deal. We already talked about this, but USA Network gave Raw $1 billion. Okay, that's a billion.
For
All
sure.
right. So I'm gonna take a swig here of my drink, so I'm not entirely sober. So you can kind of talk for the next 5 seconds.
This is sponsored.
That wasn't 5 seconds. What are you doing over there? So anyway, SmackDown also got $1 billion from Fox.
Okay.
And as we talked about NXT, I think the reported number was like 50 million or something. It's NXT, so not anywhere near Raw or SmackDown. But anyways, that's just TV deals. You know, that's not even adding up any of their other money that they get. So with the show being in Tampa, I'm predicting they go all out. I'm predicting like everything you can imagine. So John Cena lives in Tampa. I know he's filming Suicide Squad. I know he's got Fast and the Furious. I know he's got a role in that. I know he's got a million other movies. He's got Doolittle, which comes out, I think, this weekend. He's got enough going on, but the show's in Tampa. That's going to mean something to him. He's going to want to come back. And in case you remember, he was not in a match at WrestleMania last year. So he, again, has kind of stepped back, done his own thing. You mentioned earlier, but Goldberg, I don't know what CM Punk is doing. The Undertaker hasn't been around in a while. Kane, who actually is the mayor somewhere in Knox County, I think, in Tennessee somewhere. He's actually a mayor. Yes, Kane is a mayor.
Sure.
Stone Cold, I don't think he's returning, but he's been involved. He's been doing the podcasting on the WWE network, so he's involved with the company. And believe it or not, due to his neck, Edge is even rumored to be returning in some form. Edge, yes, the dude who retired in 2011 due to his neck. That was 9 years ago. He is rumored to be coming back. I already mentioned John Cena, Goldberg, The Rock. You can't tell me Fox would not pony up the dough to have The Rock all over SmackDown during WrestleMania build. That's huge right there. And then I mentioned her earlier, Ronda Rousey. She still gets that one-on-one match with Becky Lynch. So either way, whatever they decide on, this might end up tempting me to go to WrestleMania 36 in Tampa. I don't know. It's too tempting to me right now. I'm not saying yes, but I'm also not saying no, because I foresee a lot of big matches. Number 7, I have 205 Live.
Okay.
This is their Cruiserweight show. So this started a few years ago after their amazing Cruiserweight Classic tournament.
Sure.
And they took their amazing tournament and then decided, hey, we should make a weekly show. I would have left well enough alone. Sometimes too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing. Like, we all love ice cream, but having ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is probably not a good idea. Probably not.
Right.
So, Cruiserweight Classic, the tournament was awesome. I would suggest anyone check it out. High flying, amazing, unpredictable. There's a lot of bracket busters, as they say. It's a great tournament. And then they decided, hey, let's make a weekly Cruiserweight show. They have their own title, own touring, all different shows, all that other stuff. And then week by week, it's kind of been left in the barn burner and not really done much. Some weeks they don't even record. They don't even have a show. They don't even tape anything.
Sure.
It just feels like it's kind of, I don't know, not fall by the wayside, but it clearly wasn't a priority. And most of the quote-unquote stars from the Cruiserweight division have moved to Raw or SmackDown. So it almost feels like Lucha Underground, which is a totally different company, but almost feels like that, where there's not a whole lot to go with it left. A lot of the main stars are already gone anyways. There's not a lot of interest there anyways. So I think 205 Live, the Cruiserweight thing, they can kind of just put the title on NXT and then keep who they keep. But a whole weekly show dedicated to it with, 20, 30 guys, I don't know about that.
Right.
So number 8, I have Triple H Takes Over.
Okay.
This is kind of been going on for a while, but Vince McMahon has already put $300 million into the XFL. He's already not been showing up at certain tapings. He's got other business going on. I joke in the article, he's 134 years old. I mean, obviously he's not and I don't think Vince McMahon will ever officially retire.
Sure.
But all the signs there have been that it's kind of, he brought back a few of his old confidants. Bruce Pritchard. I don't know if you know any of these names, but Bruce Pritchard was brought back. He's been a trusted ally of Vince's for years. He's been kind of running the shows when he's not there.
Sure.
Paul Heyman, actually, believe it or not, Paul Heyman does have a lot of stroke running Raw.
Okay.
So, again, a guy who's been in the business, who kind of knows things, and he's not there anymore. But even Eric Bischoff was brought over to help with SmackDown, so then they could help on that show, and then he could help on that show.
Okay.
Obviously Triple H, but he mostly has been running NXT, which has been amazing. But I'm kind of going for it here with 2020, I don't know if it's all because of the XFL, but it just does seem that, as they call him, Papa H, is kind of getting the chance with NXT on USA Network, almost as like a test run.
Sure.
Okay, you can run NXT on USA. Now how about Raw on USA or SmackDown on Fox or all that? And, we've talked about this for years. Triple H has been gaining with Stephanie McMahon, obviously, by his side. They've slowly been gaining control.
Sure.
And I don't say that like a takeover. That's been the plan. Right. They slowly learn things each year, and then, when the time is ready, the secession. I think that's the word, right? What's the word? Secession plans. I don't even know what it's called. But anyways, then he would be next in line, and that's kind of what's about to happen. So it may not be full blown because, like I said, Vince will never officially retire. We know that. But Triple H will get more influence if he doesn't already have enough influence. At least that's the way I see it.
Sure.
And I have two more, so we're getting there. So getting there, but get ready. You got to speak up too.
Oh boy.
My bald head can't sit here forever and talk. So anyway, number 9, I wrote, "Where there's smoke, there's fire."
Okay.
Edge is returning.
Okay.
So he's denied it on Twitter. So a few months ago, he was apparently spotted in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
And you could say, who cares? Why? I mean, who cares? He's spotted in Pittsburgh, right?
Right.
What's the big deal? So the dude's in Pittsburgh. Have fun. Well, here's the problem with that. Pittsburgh is where WWE does all their medical testing.
Okay.
Forgot the guy's name, Dr. Marone, something. I think it's Maroon, but something. But anyways, I think it's Joseph something. He is the world-renowned doctor that does their wellness and all that good stuff. And if you're in Pittsburgh and you're in wrestling, WWE, that usually means you're there for something.
Sure.
So I don't know if he's there to get cleared, neck testing, whatever. But there was smoke to that fire there. And then he denied it. He said no. And then a little bit after this, he announced he was no longer doing his weekly podcast. So it was like Edge and Christian podcast. So I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Sure.
All right, so whatever. And then, little more cryptic stuff there. Aww. And then after that, it was revealed he has signed a new contract with the company.
Oh boy.
A guy retired for 9 years due to neck issues.
Sure.
And not only that, but it was not a Legends deal.
Okay.
So as you know, most of the old timers and stuff have Legends deals. They get action figures, money with that, the T-shirts, all that. So they're still getting.
Okay.
But it was not a Legends deal.
Sure.
So what kind of deal was it? Yeah. And now comes, and then after that, he again denied it. He went on Twitter, and again, he wrote something like, still not, or something like that. I forgot what it was.
Right.
Again denied it. And now the latest rumor is the Royal Rumble coming up.
Ooh, okay.
And there's surprise entrance.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
So whether he's there or not, I forgot what it was. It's Minute Maid Park, I think, in Houston. They've been doing baseball stadiums, which I think looks cool. So he really has no connection to Houston, at least that I can think of.
Sure.
I know Booker T is from there. He's been not campaigning, but Booker T has almost been telling him, like, hey, give me a call. I gotta like get in shape and be ready for this. If it's gonna happen, you gotta let me know.
Sure.
So Booker T might be somebody that's coming up, but I don't know. I think Edge. I think there's something there. I don't know what it would be. I don't think he's going to come out in the Rumble, or I mean that'd be amazing, but I don't know about that. But 9 years retired, and now suddenly he's been showing up in Pittsburgh and backstage at all these shows.
Yeah.
They're doing something. I don't know what, but that's one to watch. And then number 10, and last but not least, are you ready for this?
Sure.
Are you ready? I need a big drum roll for this.
I don't know how loud that's getting.
That's your drum roll?
That's the drum roll. It looks louder on the stream.
All right, I'll believe you. Number 10, NRW.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm only kidding, but that does segue into our potential next podcast.
Okay.
So this is the open invite to our fellow competitors from NRW fame. As I take another drink, from NRW fame, I think our champion is New Moon. Am I correct?
That's true. That's what the record books say.
I'm pretty sure he pinned Fallen.
He did.
I don't think Crazy Case was ever beaten.
Crazy Case is yet to be beaten.
And I don't believe Fusion was ever beaten either for that title.
No.
Huh. Ain't that something?
Ain't that something? Let's see.
Isn't that a new year?
New year.
A new year for New Moon.
New year. Oh.
All right, that was an easy one. I thought you pulled out. All right, so let me check out this chat. Is anything going on in here?
No, D's been really good.
D's been behaving himself.
He says, aren't all the deals independent contracts? We were talking about the Legend deals, or with Edge.
No. I'm not even gonna get into that. That's a long story for a long other night. Not tonight.
Sure.
But maybe another time. That would take way too long for me to get into that garbage.
Okay.
But it's the whole independent contractor versus contracted. But
sure.
Yeah, that's been going on for years. It's a non-story.
Okay.
Non-story. So, anything you got as you're hidden again? How's your rehab going?
It's good. It's chugged. It's down. No, I just have been hidden for the stream health, but no, I mean, I thought it was really good. I'll come back to life.
Back to life?
There we go.
Well, wait a minute. Are you going to bed soon?
Yeah.
And you just chugged a rehab?
I'll be able to do both, I promise.
So why do I get no comment yet on my bright yellow canary shirt?
Hey man, I think it looks good. Let's see. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Let's see it. There it is. It looks good.
I mean, a little buttoned down a little bit, but that's all right.
You gotta be a sex symbol for 411 Mania.
You gotta show off the goods, especially with my Colts hat.
Colts hat, okay. Mixing it up.
Not the Packers in the NFC Championship games.
Teams that were done a while ago.
Yeah, the Colts who completely disappointed this year, but
just taking a break.
Just taking a little bit of a break. They'll be back next year. Don't worry. That's a bold prediction right there.
Yeah, it's a super bold prediction.
Super bold. Yeah. Wait a minute. Super Bowl?
Bold prediction.
Oh, boy. All right, so I you want to get your plugs in here at the end, right?
No, it's good. I'll throw in some links or in the comments, but I like to keep it pretty WWE oriented. You know, I thought it was a really good breakdown.
Plug free. No plugs for you. Nothing.
For the
you gotta plug something.
Oh, sure.
How about you plug some Vibin?
I'll play it at the. I'll put the link for it.
Oh, you can play Fallen's music or something.
There you go. No, it's
But
good.
then,
These are good predictions. It was kind of cool to come back and see what you've been working on before, where you were at with your other predictions, and you got a good success right here. So we'll make sure we tag that guy, and he hears how well you did. So
yeah, 95%, arguably 100%.
yeah, that's pretty good. That's good.
Yeah, a
I
little.
like it.
Well, hey, if you throw in there, um, if you throw in Fallen's theme, you got to give a shout out to the man behind the
Hey,
music.
Steve Madsen right there. Let me actually I don't know if I have a way to if I ever made it to my computer, but
We got to give him a shout out. I'll do it right now. The Resident Complex. That is it right there. Look it up. TheResidentComplex.com. All the music, all that good stuff. The Resident Complex. Amazing music, good stuff. You hear it every week on the 411 Foresight Wrestling Podcast. Again, I will say it again. 411 Foresight Wrestling Podcast. If you go to iTunes right now, actually, we have nothing but 5-star reviews. That is a fact. You cannot dispute a fact. It is all on there. So, anything else you got for us?
no, no, this is perfect. Oh, I was muted for some of that. No, I couldn't find the song. It's on my phone and not on my computer. So
That's all right. I just gave a plug anyways. But
that's
I'll give mine real quick if you don't mind.
you do it. Keep going.
Not much to plug. We just talked about the columns, though. You can find all that on 411mania.com. Excuse me, 411mania.com, of course. I just said it, 411mania.com. One more time. We'll do it again, 411mania.com. You can find me on all those columns. You can find me all that babbling, all that random crap. And then on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all that good stuff. It is called the 411 Foresight Wrestling Podcast. So you can give us a listen there. This is trying to just give you a taste of all that so you can drag your views over there and come join us over there. And another thing that you can do if you want is also then to follow my ramblings on Twitter. That's up to you if you really want to, but it is at Justin Watry. I'm going to spell it out for you real quick. Obviously, the little at symbol, and then it's Justin, Justin, and then Watry, Watry. So at JustinWatry, Twitter.com. Everybody knows about Twitter. We have that. So otherwise, Mr. Matty Mo, what do you propose?
What do you propose? No, I threw all the links in there for you too. Resident Complex, 411 Mania in your Twitter, so people can hit you up. I thought this was really fun. It was a good one. Worked out. We had some technical difficulties. Got to figure it out, man. It was frustrating, but here we are. So, and we almost kept it just at an hour. So.
Oh, perfect. I honestly haven't even looked yet.
It's perfect for the people. Perfect for the people. So we'll wrap it up. Thanks for popping in on this, Justin. Shout out to DMO for popping in. Shout out to Brandon Mikulski for popping in here too. So
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait. We'll see how the audio was and how it all turned out, man. So thanks for checking this one out. All right, have a good one.